Here we go. We're live.
Hi, everybody.
Just all
All
right.
right, go
Just
ahead and introduce our guest. All right, that was
So
courtesy of our friend Andy
that's
Morrow.
that's a pretty cool intro.
Go ahead, Bobby, introduce our guest and
yeah, I'm
read her.
trying to get it loaded right now. Okay. So Jenny Kouchi
Hmm.
is a
Yay.
paranormal investigator and team historian with Parasite Investigations, based out of New Jersey and New York. She grew up in Rochester, New York, and has an educational background in chemistry, physics, and foreign languages. She earned her degrees at Rutgers University and is currently continuing her education online, studying physics in Yale University. Jeannie has been investigating the paranormal for nearly 30 years. She and the Parasite team rely on an approach they call science and sensitivity, combining the work of systems with an experiment-based approach to investigations. Janie also focuses on critical thinking as a way to increase understanding and reduce fear for individuals and locations experimenting the paranormal activity. Her recent interests involve advanced pre-bunking and debunking techniques using physics, as well as exploring the existence of thought forms, toolbox, and doppelgangers. Judy has appeared on numerous podcasts and programs, including The Grave Talks, Ghosts in the Valley, and others, and mostly appeared in the 2022 film The Ghost of Somerville, The Old Dutch Patches. Judy is happily married with two adult daughters, and her spare time enjoys cycling and follow international soccer. All right.
So
All
thank
right. Well,
that was great.
I want to say thank you for joining us tonight and taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're pretty busy, and on a Friday night, I imagine usually you're out doing an investigation.
Yeah, usually, but thank
But
you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
here we are. I remember what happened to the picture now. Oh,
I
you're
think I forgot to put that there.
Oh, okay. That's all right. We'll get it. Don't worry.
It's all good.
Um, so I had a question. Are you a? You might be asked this all the time, and maybe I ask this about everybody. But are you a skeptic?
I would say I always called myself a skeptic, always, but now I've switched to more of a, I call myself a critical thinker. So,
All right.
not necessarily skeptical, but I definitely think about things critically.
I like that answer.
Mm.
I was watching the one piece of evidence, actually, if you could share that one, where you were sitting in that, what was that one room where you were at, and it rubbed against you, and you like jumped across the room.
Oh, the door opened. Yeah, the door opened. Yeah, that's a fun. That's see how humble I am to show you that. Yeah, um, we have a little bit of a joke on our team that if I jump, it's serious
Yeah.
because I don't tend to get scared ever. But I'll talk about that later when we
Okay.
go
Yeah.
to
All
the.
right. Good. Yeah. I just laughed at that one and your
Oh yeah.
reaction.
Oh yeah. It scared me. Yeah, it scared me. You get startled sometimes.
Yeah. Not really scared. It just makes you jump. The
Right.
hair
Right.
stands up on your arms and things.
Exactly.
Yeah. I
Exactly.
got you.
Yeah.
All right. So what is your latest maybe the latest project you're working on? If you can share.
Of course, of course. We have a residency at the Ritz Theater. It's located in New Jersey, in southern New Jersey. I don't know if you know much about New Jersey. It's near Philadelphia, quite near Philadelphia. So we
Yeah.
host investigations there, and we also try to bring in, so-called, experts in the field and sort of advance our knowledge of this theater because no one's ever investigated it before. We're the first. So we've been building on layers and layers of investigation at this place, and it's been really just a labor of love, a project, that, and we welcome people to come in and add to the story. Everyone who comes in adds a little bit to the story.
Okay. Uh, were you at Gettysburg this year?
I was not. I was at the Shanley Hotel that night.
That's why I didn't meet you there. Okay.
Yeah,
That
I'll
makes
be
sense.
there next year again. Yeah, we just had a, scheduling conflict, but
All right.
but I was at the Shanley, so it's not the worst.
That's interesting. Now, I know of 2 teams that go to the, I believe, the Ritz Hotel and probably the Stanley as well and all that area. Ron and Lourdes, of course, you know them.
Yes, of course.
And
I
then,
do.
of course, you know Anthony. Anthony's in chat. Say hi to Anthony.
Anthony, hi.
Anthony Simonelli, forget about it. He says,
Mr. Forget About It.
yeah, he says it better. Even when he's not feeling well, he still says it better than I can.
He's not feeling well, I know. And he's just
But-
wonderful. I love working with him.
Yeah, he's a wonderful person. I
really is.
love talking to him and hearing all his stories, and I can listen to him all night.
Me too. I admit it. I sort of sometimes follow him around and soak up his expertise. I mean, I don't know. I hope it's not annoying. I follow him around a little.
No,
bit.
I don't think so. I think if someone's learning, I think that's where he gets his energy from. If anyone's learning, then he's happy.
He's very generous with his expertise.
Yeah, I think the other team that I have met at Gettysburg was Cody and Satori, and I think they were at the Ritz too. Went right?
They have not been to the Ritz.
Okay, where did I see them at? They were somewhere where they were doing their exercise with the knocking,
Right,
and they're spelling out the names of the people that were there, and that's always incredible when I think about that.
I've seen that. Yeah, and it's their method. Whatever works for you.
Yeah, no, I got to meet them, and they're amazing people, though.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was standing in line at the hotel at Gettysburg, waiting to register, and I was behind them. I didn't know who they were, from behind. First time seeing them in person. I see them on the video all the time, and I was talking to Brian M. Bowden, if you know who that is, or Bowden, however you say his name, Sir Brian. Anyway, I recognized him right away, and we were talking, and Cody turned around and said, "Wait a minute, you're Ron from Errt."
Everybody knows you.
We were both like shocked that we were talking and right next to each other and didn't know who we were.
That's so funny. That's the wonderful thing about Gettysburg, right?
And I had so much fun meeting a lot of people there.
Exactly.
And I actually got to do some readings for people. I do tarot card readings, mainly for fun, but I actually get pretty darn close with my readings. You can ask Bobby about that one, but I do fairly well. Bobby and I'm pretty close with my readings.
Yeah, you are. Okay, Anthony. Okay, so what about the door at the Ritz?
Oh, that's what Anthony wants to know. Yeah.
Oh, see, everybody knows about that door. Actually, the video I sent you, Anthony Simonelli makes a cameo in that. He is actually on the other side of the door when I'm on the inside of the door at one point. So the door, just to give you a little background, it's a dressing room. So behind the stage, there are stairs up to the room, and it's just a room. It's completely enclosed. There's no windows or anything. There's a door to the room, and that's where it ends. It doesn't go anywhere else. So we quickly figured out that that door has a habit of opening on its own, and especially if we tell it to. So that's pretty exciting. And you'll see in the video, you'll hear his voice saying thank you when it opens, because he's on the other side of the door. So we both got it on camera, which is really neat. We got it from 2 angles.
And that's the dressing room, right?
Right. That's the dressing room, right. So the one I jumped at. So the reason I jumped, this is really funny, is because I guess I am a little bit of a skeptic. I thought someone perhaps had gotten into the theater. I thought it was a person. And that scared me because we were locked in that theater, just the 3 of us at the time. So when I heard the doorknob jiggle right next to me, I thought, uh-oh, someone broke in and someone's coming in. So I jumped. And then as soon as I realized nobody was there, I was like asking questions. Can you do that again? Can you close it? Like I jumped right on it. But yeah, it's quite funny because I never jumped. But oh boy, I thought somebody broke into the theater.
No, that just shows that you're human. Shows you're natural.
Yeah.
All right. So are you ready for that clip about the dressing room?
If you are.
All right.
You'd like us to play? Whoa!
No way.
The door just opened on its own.
Yes, but what's the matter? No, I just spaced the fuck out. I know you did. See? That's why I spaced the fuck out. What the actual
Sorry.
fuck?
It opened. Okay, I know we said we would leave if you opened that door, and we will. But we...
Thank you.
You want to leave? You're welcome to leave.
If you want us to leave, can you open the door for us?
That would be nice.
If the door stays closed, then I'll just take that as you want us to stay. Okay, we're gonna go then. Thank you.
You saw it open, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I
It's
see you
fun.
right next to that when that happened. I noticed that now.
Yeah, and I could
Okay.
hear the jiggling, and it was like, oh, geez, it startled me. You heard Anthony Simonelli right in the background going, "Thank you."
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like, yeah. That door. Let me tell you, as somebody with a background in physics, science, I have tried everything to debunk that. Everything from vibration in the wall to pressure to, I mean, everything. And I so far have not been able to debunk it. And we, like I said, we do get it on command. Can you open, like you saw, can you open that door for us?
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
And yeah, that's amazing. And then the reaction, like I said, you're just being human.
Yeah, exactly. I thought somebody was coming in. It scared me. But
And it doesn't matter how much science you know or how much knowledge you have in the paranormal area, something's going to make you jump at one point. I mean, I always say,
you know how it is when you're in the dark and quiet for the longest time,
Yeah.
right? And nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden something happens. It's loud and you jump.
and I always say I wouldn't run if I saw a ghost. Now I see activity in my house, but it's totally different. You know, here
Oh,
it's
yeah.
kind of calm and peaceful actually compared to some of the things I see. But
Right.
if I was investigating someplace and it was actually haunted, if I'd probably be the first one running out the door screaming.
You admit it. I love it. But you know, we don't know how we're going to react. I agree. I mean, we have a lot of physical activity, like I guess you'd call it poltergeist type activity at the theater. So a door slamming or that type of things moving. I had a water bottle that just got knocked over and just knocked over.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, right in front of our eyes, we were all looking at it and it was just sitting there, a full water bottle, and it just went like, okay. So we come to kind of expect that kind of activity, but it's like I said, it's been a learning experience. You know, I had never been investigated, so.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. And then what is your science? You have a science degree, a physics degree?
Yeah.
Or
Chemistry, right.
okay.
So obviously I studied a lot of math and physics as well.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm studying physics now still at my age.
So
at
you are
55.
more of as a going along with the critical thinker, that would make you an analytical thinker, meaning that
I
things
think
have
so.
to add up correctly, so to speak.
I
Does
think
that make
so, but
sense?
I think you can't take the magic out of it. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
think you can science it to death, but part of the reason we do this is a little bit of the unknown, right? A little bit of the magic. So I think if you lose that, you lose the fun.
Yeah. Upi has a question. Upi is one of our favorite people here.
Oofy and Oofy. Right. Oh, yeah. And Anthony Simonelli can help us with this too. We tried everything. I mean, we, like I said, I measured the vibration in the wall. I measured the pressure in the room, how it changed when we closed the door. You can actually, Oofy, you can actually see the door handle move. It latches. So it's pretty latched. You pull it and it's locked kind of thing. We jumped up and down. We tried wind from outside, but I was jumping up and down, and Anthony, my teammate, said to me, "But Jenny, you weren't jumping up and down when it opened." I went, oh, "Okay, good point." Sometimes you
Yep,
do
you're
things
sitting
and it's like,
still.
right, right. And Ufi, that's such a good question, because I got to tell you, that door keeps me up at night still. Like, I still think, what could it be? I
You're
have
trying to
not
figure it
settled.
out. Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure it out, Ufi. But like I said, Anthony Simonelli can attest. He said he even jumped up and down.
Anthony jumped. That would make a hole in the floor if he did that. Come on now.
He was on the other side of the door, like I said, and I love that we got it from two directions. Yeah,
Remember, I met
that's
Anthony. I know how big he is. That would make a hole on the floor.
Oh man. And you know what I love about this? What I love about this is sometimes it never happens the whole night. So it's not a case of occasionally that door pops open. Does that make sense? Like,
Right.
you can go days without that door opening, and that makes me even happier.
Yeah. And then you can go to a location, do an investigation, and no EVPs happen. And you
Right.
sit there all night even, and there ain't nothing happening. Like, why am I doing this?
Exactly. Right. But if that door opened every 5 minutes, I would say, oh, okay, there's some kind of natural cause. But
Right.
the fact that it doesn't always open, and we've actually had EVPs saying, we say, "Can you open the door?" And we've had EVPs say, I'm trying. We definitely had a cam on the other side of the door. I'm going to get that footage from Anthony Simonelli, Ufi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we also have some other experiments that have been proposed to us by Dan Class from Hinsdale House, right? So that's what we love about having, experts in, because each one of them gives us different ideas how to approach it. We're not arrogant. We want to learn. So we bring in, like we brought in Daryl Marston, right? Who happens to be in construction, which was great. So I took him right up to the door and I said, you are in the construction field. What's happening here? And he was like, I don't know. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. So when he said that too, I was like, okay, maybe we have.
That's what I like about some of we know Chris Allgood and Audra. And Chris Allgood is a construction, window and door man, a few other things that he knows about.
Yes.
And he's very intelligent on a whole lot of things. but construction construction is his main field at this point. But he was in law enforcement, which means he has as you do, a critical thinking type of attitude when it comes to evaluating things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, I think we all do, and just some are actually trained in that thinking pattern,
Right. And there's still experiments to do, definitely. That gentleman who was in that last segment of the video, Anthony, one of my partners, my co-investigators, is also a police officer.
Okay, good.
So so Tower Paranormal Investigations is asking, did you experience any EMF spikes before the door opened?
That's Raul. Hi, Raul. No, not at all.
Interesting.
Nothing. But I think one thing that we did very well was we also took audio of it. So we were actually able to hear the clicking, of the door latching. So it's not something you can really hear that well while you're watching the video, but when we had a digital recorder on it and we heard that clicking, you could really hear that something had turned it, not just popped it open, it actually clicked.
Interesting. Huh?
Yeah. We'll keep at it. We'll keep at it. It's not 100%, but
well, now when that something like that happens, what is your sixth sense about the whole situation? Do you sense an energy? Besides you being startled, do you sense an energy, a force that you can't explain? And
So I'm not a sensitive whatsoever. I have no sensitivity whatsoever. However, we work with people who are sensitive. So we have been told that there is a gentleman there, and we have gotten some responses, some male responses on, our chaos box or our, spirit box. So I don't know. We bring in people like Brandy Wells, really renowned psychic mediums, and we try to build the story.
Yeah.
So, do you think a recording magnetometer would be good?
A magnetometer. Yeah, it's a great idea. And Dan suggested that, as well as putting it like some type of detector on the doorknob. Like a REM pod type thing, but on the doorknob.
Yeah. We got some
Many
smart
experiments
people.
left to do. Yeah, I know. And believe me, I look at it and I still think, no, there's got to be an explanation. But that's why I like to throw these things out here, because like Goofy, those are great ideas. And it's not like we stop. We say, oh, it's paranormal, and we stop. We keep going.
Now, who do you think is in that location that would be trying to give you a message? And that's why they're opening the door, to give you a message.
What I don't know is someone trying to get out or is someone trying to come in? So that's next, I guess.
I would say they're trying to get out. I would say they're trying to get out and they don't know how to go. Yeah. And they're asking, they might be reaching out to get help, to get crossed over, or whatever you call it.
Unfortunately, there may have been some things going on there that weren't so, nice, because it was a dressing room that locked. So
who knows what was going on then?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there could have been some, some bad things.
Oh, Oopie had a good question. There you go.
I love Oopie's
any chemical clues, smell, taste, or whatever
in that room
when that happened?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Interesting. Not at all. I mean, we have had conversations using. We had it was Richard Moschella, the author, there, and Sensitive, obviously. He we had sort of a conversation going with the K2 meter on the floor, and also a REM pod at the same time, and we also got a gentleman's name, so it seems to be a male up there. There were, I don't know if I can quickly just talk about the theater a little bit. It was built in 1926, and it was opened in 1927. It was a vaudeville theater, so they would show, a movie house really for people in Philadelphia and that area, and they would have vaudeville acts afterward, and it was really, really successful. And then in the 50s and 60s, they did mostly foreign films, that kind of thing. And then in the 1970s, this is the interesting part where everybody's ears perk up. It became an adult movie house. So it kind of fell into disrepair. And we think that gentleman may have been associated with that time. Sort of that time when it was a little bit seedy, a lot seedy actually. So it was an adult movie house until 1985, when a group of people, actors, moved in actually. Lived up in a rehearsal room on top, and took it over and started doing live musicals and plays. And now it's a thriving theater again, thank goodness.
Wow.
It was hit hard by COVID, so one of the reasons we wanted to do this was to raise money for it. It's on the National Historical Register, and it's gorgeous. And if we can help save a place, of course, that's part of what we do, isn't it? It's definitely part of what we do.
Yeah, create an awareness about something on in that order, and you're not trying to scare people away. You're trying to make them aware. Okay, it's safe here. You can do things here, and just be respectful and understand that you have to live with it. That's all there is to it.
Exactly. Speaking of, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's funny that you say that, because the managing director right now, his name is Bruce. He doesn't want to know. He's so funny. He's like, you guys come in, do whatever you want, but I don't want to know. and the rest of the staff is like, oh, I see a lady over here, and I see this happen, and this happens, and this happens. So they, we kind of, we put the layers together. We call it paranormal lasagna. We try to put the layers together. We have stories, we have pictures, we have video. It sort of adds up to something eventually, but it's more like a huge research project, this theater.
So, Opie is saying we'll be interested to swab, clean the handles, and check with UV or other for any smudging or chemical changes after it.
Yeah, and even something physical.
Does a physical effect it causes physical cause?
So that's a really good question. So you're saying like with my water bottle falling over, that something physically had to push it?
Yeah, that's what I think she means.
Yeah. I was just gonna say this, that you could go Scooby-Doo and put powder on it.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with old school methods, right?
Right.
Yeah. And speaking of the rehearsal room, we got a clip for it. Can you explain that before you play it?
The rehearsal room, sure. Okay. So I included this. This is when Dan Class was there. This is Steve and Katie Hulte of Hulte Paranormal. They have amazing equipment.
I have one of their boxes.
Me too. I have the Freddy Krueger box. That's how you know it, right? I have the Freddy Krueger box. They're geniuses. We were using one of their chaos boxes.
Yep.
And I mentioned that the rehearsal room upstairs is where a lot of people lived in the 70s. When they moved back in 80s, they moved back in and opened the theater again. So we tend to get a lot of people trying to talk at once up there. And that's where we put Ron and Lourdes. I say we put them. That's where Ron and Lourdes go when they come. And they've been there several times. And I think it's the best place because it just seems to be the most amount of people. And I think what happened is nobody talked to them for so long, forever, right? I mean, it's how many years, right? 100 years. And nobody said anything. And so now we're saying, okay, who's here? And they're like, me? Are you talking to me? Kind of thing. So everybody talks at once. Anyway, the reason I included this clip is because I found it fascinating that you'll start to recognize a woman's voice as if you'll start to know it. It's so consistent. And then I mentioned there's a gentleman at the theater too. What we find is that he doesn't like to let her talk.
Oh.
And Brandy Wells, the psychic medium, said to us, you just need to tell him, hey, stand aside, we'll get to you. Please let her talk. So you'll hear this woman, she calls herself Dana. What was fascinating to me is this is a chaos box. I mean, this is completely random, right? The sweep is random, everything is random. And we're getting this woman who has a really recognizable voice throughout. And to me, that was really remarkable. And we learn a little bit more about the theater. But then you'll hear that he comes back and she says, he's here. And then he takes over.
Okay.
And there's actually a little fun thing at the end about Ron and Lourdes.
All right, here we go.
Is there somebody rehearsing a dance number here, dance routine? Me.
Okay.
Do you like tap dancing here? Or do you do ballet?
Would you introduce yourself, please? That's it. Did she say just free something, Lisa?
Yeah.
Just like free porn, that's it, or something like that. So just free, kind of free dancing? What's that same voice? Dana.
And this is
Christina or Dana?
Did you hear Christina or Dana? I heard Tina, Dana, something like that.
Yeah, but it was a little low. Dana.
Dana. Yeah, Dana.
which is
Thank you.
Thank you.
it's fascinating
Hi,
right
Dana.
now because that male spirit is wearing fear. If you thought he overpowered her there,
It's usually worse here.
very, very bad. So I'm surprised that. Thank you for allowing.
Really? He's gone.
Solution.
I thought it said delusion.
Well, we're glad that he's gone so you can communicate with us. Can you tell us your name?
Dana.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, Dana.
Freak? Did you say freak? Did you say freak?
Uh-huh.
I just
usually get that
You
response
freak?
from spirit.
That is the same voice.
Can you say the name of one of the two people who usually have their equipment here? Would you like to communicate with?
Ron. And the other one. It said like Ron and the other one.
Yeah, Ron and the other one. She's right there. Oh, the guy's on there.
Poor Lourdes. Poor Lourdes. There's Ron and the other one.
The one back there, right?
But I mean, that's incredible intelligence. We ask, who are the people who usually sit in this room? And he's like, he's Ron and the other one. She sits right there in the back. Like, wow.
So then they don't remember everything. They can forget names.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, and
amazing.
yeah, so Ufi has said when you calculate the force required to move your water bottle or the door, it's not insignificant.
It is not.
So Tower Paranormal Investigations, I don't think ghostly fingerprints. So similar to wine or telekinesis, you might, if you're looking to get a smudge. And your friend Starseed is here.
Yep, that's
Hi.
here.
Well,
My
yeah.
friend, Star.
Yeah.
She
And
was, she lived in Maui when that fire occurred. She had to get out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. And
Terrible.
Ufi says that it seems reasonable to think that any force of physical object may have a physical cause and be measurable even after the fact.
That's logical, for sure.
So that would mean it would leave a signature as to some kind of energy, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's exactly, and I think that's what she's saying. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's stuff to do. You know, there are definitely experiments to do. We're just getting started. But I love that this opened up this conversation. This is exactly why I show this. Clip.
Yeah, and I was wondering
I love these ideas.
I'm sorry. I was wondering if you leave a recorder, like say if you have a digital recorder that can run all night.
Yep.
You have a power source that you know it ain't gonna run down. You know, maybe an outside battery source is plugged into, and it'll be enough power to last all night. There's no way it can run down. All right. So let's assume that it runs all night, and you have enough memory card to run all night, no matter what's said. So you might have a 1 terabyte, drive to capture everything. And I'm not talking about video. I'm just saying audio.
Right.
You're not there. Everyone's gone. No one's there. And yet you hear noises.
Right.
And
is that what they call EVP?
I would say that's a great idea, because does the door open when we're not there?
Right.
You know, that's the next step for sure. I mean, we're still trying to figure out why it opens when we are there. But like I said, so far, nobody's been able to figure it out. That doesn't mean it doesn't have a cause, but at the moment, it's, I guess we call it paranormal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Bobby. You had a question?
No, so like an energy signature, maybe retrievable.
Right. Right.
Does battery typically becomes discharged in a paranormal environment?
Yes.
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But no, but you make a good point. I love the idea of leaving a recorder in a place, without you there. We do that. We've done that at Hinsdale House. When we go outside to investigate, I leave the recorder on inside. I want to know what happens after we leave.
Yeah, I saw that Hinsdale House thing. I can't remember. It's a Netflix show maybe or something.
Oh.
And it was looked kind of scary. I don't know if I want to go there. I don't know if I want to go there or not.
I don't think you're alone. I think there's like a strange draw to that house.
I mean, I want to, but I don't.
Feels that way.
Yeah, I want to, but I don't know if I want to. I'm doing good just to go to these big conferences. There I'm kind of safe.
Right. No, hey, you need to follow your instincts. But one thing I would say about the Hinsdale House is I find that the energy you bring into it matters. Right? So we went into it thinking we're going to live here like a family. In fact, Frankie Adeo, my other co-investigator, he made pasta. We all sat around the table and ate dinner. We tried to bring like a family atmosphere. And that was sort of the nature of the evidence we got too. So
yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Out of all the places you've been to, I don't know if it's the right time to ask this, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Anytime.
What do you think is your favorite, if there is one? Meaning
No,
evidence-wise and...
that's a great question. And actually, I can answer that. My favorite investigation, and it was on my bucket list for so long, was Kreischer Mansion in Staten Island.
I heard about that.
Yeah, that was
Right.
by far. I mean, everything lined up. It was a terrible stormy night. The windows were rattling. It was crazy, crazy night. And I just felt the minute I walked in there, like, this is amazing to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
Tower Paranormal says that may not open if no one's there because it won't have human EMF energy to pull from.
Interesting.
That is a really interesting point. A very interesting point. Because it does open pretty regularly for people when they ask for it. Right? But I can sit in there for an hour and not ask and it doesn't open. It doesn't just click open on its own. Like, it's usually, hey, can you open that door for us? And either we get, like I said, the EVP saying, I'm trying, or it opens.
Yeah.
You know, on command. So that's a little hard to explain.
So yeah.
These are
So
such good ideas.
Goofy.
I'm writing them all down.
Yeah. Have you ever speculated about why the same entities always found the same place? And do they move around to other locations? And why are they seemingly trapped in one location, time, and space?
To no end, I've speculated about this. Like I said, I'm definitely not the sensitive. I'm definitely not the total believer. So part of it is, you know, I'm just trying to see what I can figure out. You know, it's not that I feel like we don't even use the word evidence, really. We try to just say observations, because really, if you observe a door open, all you're doing is observing a door open.
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, that's a ghost, right? Or something like that. You don't have evidence of that. And plus, you know, Anthony being a police officer, evidence is a big word for him. You know, It really needs to add up. So we just more try to make observations. But as far as being in one location, I don't know. I think that's what we're all trying to figure out. I know that people in our group, you know, believe in different dimensions, and sometimes they line up, sometimes they don't. You know, I love physics and I love talking about, you know, the dimensions, but quantum physics and all that, but who knows for sure? And if, you know, we're trying to figure things out, but do we want to know everything? Like I said, I mean, part of it is the magic of it, the fun of it, right?
Yeah. Now, if you're wondering why Ufi writes such long questions, she is an author.
I love Ufi's questions. No, I love Ufi's questions. In fact, I watch the Thursday night show, Dimensions of the Supernatural, and I love Ufi's questions.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah. So if they draw from
Yes.
local energy, has anyone tried to devise an energy generator suitable for them to draw?
Yes, actually, I built a Tesla coil. And brought it in there, and it actually did have results. It definitely had better results for everything.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. I probably a 10-year-old could do it, but I built a Tesla coil, and of course I had burns all over my hands because, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. So I went in there, Band-Aids and all, and turned it on, and for sure we noticed a difference.
Interesting.
Yeah, we noticed the activity really ramped up.
I like that.
That's
great
crazy.
question.
You see, I'm more curious. Excuse me. I like you said, I've had experiences, you know, and I can only go by my own experiences. Of course, it's your interview, though.
No, I want to hear about your experiences.
But I have noises in my house. Like right now, I'm the only one here, you know, only human here. All right, and I hear noises happening. Now it's windy outside. I get that, but it's not the wind outside that's making the noise. It's inside.
Wow.
On my recorder today, I left for 30 minutes. 34 minutes was the time of the recording. And I went to the post office, and the bar had cheeseburgers for lunch, so I got a cheeseburger. And I came back, and 34 minutes later, I turned off the recorder. Now, I don't know what it has on it until I listen to it, right?
Right.
And I'm listening to it, and at first, what I hear at the beginning is whistling, which I never heard whistling before.
Hmm.
You know, and I think I have heard whistling audibly once, but I don't know if it was here, but I can't remember now. But anyway,
Yeah.
on the recording, I heard whistling here, and then I heard like going through some paperwork or paper or something, rustling of paper,
Mhm.
and I'm not there. I'm at the bar getting my sandwich. So there should be nobody here, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then Bobby heard footsteps. Bobby listened to the tape or to the recording. He
Okay.
heard footsteps, and in other recordings, he heard other things that I didn't hear.
Mhm.
But Bobby has I don't know, he has a weird sense of hearing I don't have. But anyway,
Yeah. So Ufi wants to know if you tried one of those plasma bomb
I
balls.
personally have not, but I have been with someone who did.
plasma balls, what are those?
I don't know much about it.
Okay.
Yeah, me neither. I'll bring. Tower Paranormal says I'll bring
Yeah.
my EMF pump them for sure. Then plus, I don't want them to use me as a battery.
He's gonna be that's Raul. He's gonna be coming to our next investigation at Strauss Mansion in Atlantic
Oh,
Highlands.
good.
Yeah, so bring the EMF up. We've used that. We've used a bunch of things really to try and charge the atmosphere.
Yeah, if you weren't so far away, I'd
but
love
have
to.
luck.
I'd love to go there, but I drive everywhere I go. I don't like to fly. I don't
Okay.
like flying at all. I like
Well-
all my wheels on the ground.
I get it. Well, if you're welcome if you're ever in
And
this area.
I'm certainly
definitely.
not afraid of flying, but I don't know, the cost of flying and having to go through the airports, and if I go to the Twin Cities, I have to drive 6 hours to get there and leave my car in the parking lot at the
Oh
airport.
boy.
Probably not a good idea.
No.
And so I don't know. Just by the time I drive there, I'm already 6 hours into the drive. I can be partway to my location where I'm going. Might as well just drive. I go to Pine Bush in New York, in Newburgh, New York. I go to Pine Bush
Okay.
every year.
Did you
I've
say
been there-
Newburgh?
Yeah,
Newburgh, New York? Oh,
yeah.
it's not
I've been
far.
there for 7 years now.
Okay.
And then Gettysburg this year was my first time there this year. So I like it. So I think I'll have to be stuck going back again.
Yeah.
I love
So Ufi, he is definitely on the ball. Perhaps we could call your investigation research for a diff force of nature.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
That makes perfect sense too. Yeah. UFO. The UFO machine.
Yep,
Museum was in
I was
Cambridge. Is that
there
where
when
you
they
went?
were. I was there when they were building that, actually, getting it all set up.
I was thinking the same thing, Raul.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, but you're not
Yeah.
far. That's not far from New Jersey.
yeah.
We do have at least one more clip. I think it's got to do something about the dancers. Can you explain about the dancers?
Sure. I think we have two. We have the dancers is actually. I mentioned it was a vaudeville theater, right? So we try to play some old. Always try to have triggers. We play music. We play old timey music, vaudeville type music.
Yeah.
We've even, we've gone there. We've talked about, maybe some seedy things, like I said, that to try and elicit activity from that era in the 70s when it was, an adult movie theater. But we try to play some music from vaudeville, and that's what we did here. We played some old fashioned music, and this was again when Dan Class was there. I feel like Dan brings the activity with him. I don't know. And we quickly found that we had some people dancing on the stage, and there were cones on the stage. So before everyone says, "Oh, it's just mapping the cones," you can actually see the cones next to the dancers. So because the first thing I said, "Oh, it's mapping the cones." There were cones. This is a working theater. There's always a set. We have to be very careful. It's set. So there were some like traffic cones. And I was like, that's just mapping the cones. And then I looked closely at it, and I could see the cones in between the dancers. And they're dancing.
Wow.
Yeah. So I went, okay, I'm not right. So this is an SLS camera. We all use them for what it's worth. But I just thought it was pretty neat. Just suddenly, some dancers appeared on the stage.
All right.
Not
Yo, we got some dancers up on the stage. We got two.
Let me get it on camera. Yeah. Oh my god! Yeah, we got two dancers.
That's incredible.
Good move.
Fantastic.
It?
How do you know it?
Oh, my grandmother. That's insane.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
Wow.
That music, right?
How do you explain that though?
You know, I thought for sure I had it. I saw those cones and I'm like, it's mapping the cones. How many times do you use it map a chair? It maps something, right? Until I really, it's hard to see on the video, but if you get a good look and brighten it a little bit, you can see them in between the cones. And it's like, now what? And again, Dan was there. You know, sometimes you have to trust your team. You know, we all think the same way. We all try to debunk. I call it pre-bunking. We try to pre-bunk, which means we go around the theater and say, okay, this is going to look paranormal, but it's not. So we know that in advance, right? Like this is a high EMF area, right? Or there's a lot of wind on this door, that kind of thing. And then we try to debunk everything. And I trust somebody like Dan, who's amazing. You know, he's working with Nick Roth on Death Walker right now. He's incredible. He's not going to be like, oh yeah, those are dancers, unless he really takes a look at it critically. So, you know, some of it is trust, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting. Ufi had a question, yeah.
When a medium communicates with an entity, could someone suggest it might be a form of a entanglement?
Entanglement.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm not a medium, like I said, but that was just a simple SLS camera.
Yeah.
You can see it in the video, I think, the camera. We tried to get a picture of it. Just a regular old SLS camera.
Yeah. So, what kind of tech do you use to translate the dancers to stick figures?
Right, just the structured light sensor.
Yeah.
That's it. And that was the first time all night, really, that we had gotten anything. We had been filming the stage with both that kind of camera and another kind of camera and nothing. And then we put the music on, then the dancers came out.
I was gonna say you didn't play the music before.
Right, and that's what made it interesting to me is, you know, what made it come out only with the music? Well, dancing.
Yeah.
I never seen
Yeah,
it.
right.
Anthony had a question, yeah.
Jen, tell them about the little girl pulling the curtain back. Oh, yeah. Oh, jeez. We have a million stories. I mean, what a place.
Hey, tell them.
Really.
You got time. You got time if you can stay up. You got time.
Okay. So I love working with Anthony. So Anthony and I, Anthony called me because there's curtains on this side, not just the curtain on the stage, but on this side there are two hallways, right? And there's curtains that you have to walk through to get to that hallway, to get backstage. And he was noticing that something was peeking, you know, through, and we were calling everybody, hey, come in here, look, and whatever. But you could see the curtain being pulled back, and you know, there's exit doors back there, but they're a ways away. And I tried to measure the wind underneath, that kind of thing, but it really did look like one side was just being peeled back. It was pretty amazing. So of course we put like a laser grid on it, another night, that kind of thing. But you know, part of it is just personal experiences, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that we even got that on tape, but he saw it.
Yeah, now too bad we probably don't have a video for that, right?
We don't have video for that, but like I said, Anthony probably has video, but you know, some of it, like I said, is just personal experiences. Anthony and I also had an experience that we heard a little girl throughout the theater. This might be the same girl.
Oh.
Wherever we would go, out like a disembodied voice, not, you know, not an EVP. We would hear, you know, just a little girl like running around, and they did have young people definitely at the theater.
Okay. All right. And we'll tell more of your stories. Like you said, you got time.
Sure. Okay.
And if you got that one, if you got another clip, share that other clip
I
too.
do. I sent in some pictures, and I actually ran these pictures by, you were mentioning Ron and Lourdes and Chris Allgood, Tony Rothman, Sherry Rothman. I ran the pictures by them because as somebody who looks at things critically, it bothered me. It bothered me a lot. So here, this is the lobby. Okay. So if you look at the top left picture, you'll see that we have a proximity sensor, the rope on the stairs, and it's lit up. I don't know if you can see that.
Okay.
You see Frankie is in the middle there, and there's a proximity rope on the stairs, and it's actually lit up, so it's going off, right? This is in the lobby. That's the original organ from the 1920s. So it's really a beautiful antique, right? And then we're using right here a camera. This is a digital camera, not an iPhone. So we can't get your hand in front of it. There's a long lens, right? So just for debunking purposes, you're not putting your finger in front of the lens. It's way out here, right? The second picture, I don't love that it's in the corner, but we started to notice a little bit of a mist or something coming in from the right. You might be able to see it just above the organ. And then in the third one, we noticed that's the fourth one, right? But in the third one, we noticed it sort of took a shape. And, you know, there's lots of, again, paranormal lasagna, we put things together. We have a lot of reports of a gentleman in a hat walking around in the lobby that the staff sees. And, you know, looking at it, I hate to sort of guess because it's just a mist, as you can see it in the upper corner. But I've had people tell me it looks like a gentleman in the hat looking at them. Do you see it? Up in the right corner, above the organ.
Let me see.
It's like
I did have the separate one.
That's it. Yep, that's it. And so some people feel like that's a brim of a hat, and he's looking at them.
Yeah.
These pictures are literally taken seconds apart. So what he did was click, 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 click. You know, like you do, as one does, right? Three.
Yeah.
You try to take 3 in a row. And I don't know, between the proximity rope going off and then this is a enclosed lobby with the doors locked. No one's smoking. There's no smoke. You can't put your finger on the lens because it's a digital camera with a long lens. I don't know what that is, and there's no shadows. There's no, you know, you can see the lights.
That's something, but don't know what.
I don't know either. But I don't know what would make it. If anyone has ideas, if you can help us debunk it, great. That's our, you know, goal. But I don't know. It's sort of,
And it doesn't look like the light is going that direction either. The light's going down and filling out the room.
Right. Yep, exactly. We did that. We looked at the shadow. We looked at everything. And like I said, that proximity rope is going off at the same time. So
there's no reason for it to go off.
Right. It's just like these things add up, right?
Yeah.
So I just found the pictures really fascinating, especially, you know, being taken in. You see it forming, and then you see this shape. And, you know, again, we all see things in shapes, right? And that's just, you know, what we do. We make sense of it. But
now, do you think that when that happens, like, you know, sometimes I'll see figures here, you know, and I just say, oh, hello, you know, I'll talk to them like they're real, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't try to run them out or scare them out or whatever, because that might make them mad, you know. And yeah, there you go. Good one, Anthony.
So you see it, Anthony. Yeah, it looks like some kind of hat.
Yeah, but when it forms, like if you see something in a window, for instance,
right?
It doesn't mean necessarily. Well, of course, when the film gets it, that's a question that would be interesting to answer. But for your mind, there it could be a screen grab, you know, a screen grab or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, it can send you a message and you imagine it, and you think you see it.
Right.
But then when the camera gets it, that's a whole nother thing.
Exactly. You never get it on camera, right? But these guys didn't see it. You know, so if it was some kind of smoke cloud, they would have seen it. They're looking right at it.
Right.
You can
like
see, which
cigarette smoke.
Yeah, you know, and we tried other things. We tried, you know, it wasn't cold. Nobody was breathing over there. We went through everything. And I just thought it was a really interesting anomaly. Again, we don't call it evidence. We're not like, oh, here's a ghost standing there. We just call it an anomaly. I mean, that shouldn't be on that film. It's not film, it's digital, but you know, I mean, it shouldn't be there. So, and I think it's interesting that it forms and then goes away.
Yeah.
Even more so. Like if it was some kind of reflection or whatever, it would be there all the time.
Right. That makes sense.
And it goes. it comes and it goes. And like I said, I've run it by as many smart people as I can. Because again, I love input. So, if anybody thinks they know what it is, let me know.
Okay.
I'm not one of those people who's like, this is my evidence. And it's, really.
No, it's everyone's evidence. We can all
Yeah,
figure it out.
It's just what we saw at that time,
Yeah.
and feel free to comment on it. So,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
All right, what's that other clip you had, or pictures or whatever?
I think that's it, Brian.
Those were the clips from the Ritz. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay.
So, the reason I wanted to focus on the Ritz really is, like I said, we're trying to bring people in to save, to really, COVID hit it hard. We're trying to bring people in to, save a really beautiful historical building. And like I said, it's a perfect research facility. It's sort of our own research facility.
Here's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
When are your tours?
We have dates. We have to go when the theater is dark, right? Because it's a working theater, right? So they're showing Hamlet or Macbeth, whatever they're doing. But we do have an upcoming date open August 26th. It's next weekend.
Okay.
If anybody's interested, come on over. You can email us at teamparasite@gmail.com.
There you go.
And we can do that. And actually, another thing that we do at the Ritz, we started last year, was we're going to be holding a summit of sorts. So first we had a VIP night. We invited so many people that we really respected in the field. And we've hosted evenings with some of these people as well, like Sam Baltrusis, the author, right?
Yeah.
Anthony Simonelli was one of our VIPs. As I mentioned, Daryl Marston, Dan Klass, all these wonderful people who had come in. We hosted a VIP night and had as many people we respected in the field come to introduce them to the theater. And now this year, we're going to have more of a summit in November for people we really, who really we respect in the field, and just a chance for us to investigate together and share. And you'd be surprised, as much as we know each other, we don't always get to investigate together. Okay. So one of the things we heard afterwards was like, we don't get a chance to all be together and investigate.
Yeah.
And what I liked about meeting all the people at Gettysburg is that I felt safe there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I felt that, we had qualified people that, I say qualified, nobody knows everything. Nobody knows it all. And most of everyone that I talk to says that, But I find it interesting that you can mention something and somebody can explain it to you, or at least make sense of what might have happened,
Right.
And they don't doubt you, or they don't put you down for what you felt or what you see.
Nope.
And that's another good thing, This is the time that we need to get out and share our thoughts and our concerns and whatever we want to share and find out about this stuff, because I have a funny feeling that, real soon, with everything happening, it's going to be kind of tight again, as far as being able to share everything. And they're going to try to stop us in a way, Oh, they're going too far with everything. We got to shut them up or stop them from sharing. And I say, keep going. Don't let them do that this time. Don't let them stop us from doing what we love.
Yeah.
And don't make them lock us away in our houses like they did, and things like that. The different things are very serious health-wise. But if we're brave enough and we're healthy enough, get out there and do what we love,
Yeah.
Exactly. And support each other, I think, is the most important.
And that's what I like about events like Gettysburg and Pine Bush. Pine Bush is more UFO based, thing, and I'm more of a skeptical about UFOs and aliens. I haven't seen one yet that I can claim. But ghosts and spirits are, I don't really like to call them ghosts because they're possibly more than likely they're human spirits,
Right.
And so I don't like to call them ghosts. Yeah, I mean negative, indication when you say ghost.
Right.
Kind of what I'm trying to separate the two, So I say spirit, and like I mentioned to you before, I say spirit research. I don't like to say ghost research or ghost hunting. Ghost hunting? What you got to have a hunting license or what?
I know. I think
You,
a lot of people are turning away from that term.
you got your
Yeah,
rifles?
I do.
You
I
got
think,
your rifles?
you're so right. I really think people are trying to get away from ghost
And yeah,
hunting.
we gotten used to saying that. And I know people don't mean hunting
No,
per se, but that's just what
no,
they called it, and that's what people ran with. And but
exactly.
now,
Yeah.
because of my experience with what I have in this house, I thought, no, I better start being a little more respectful and
Right,
say, spirit hunting would make more sense.
right, right.
Not really hunting even, but spirit research is what I'd like to say, and that's what I call it anyway.
Yeah. Right.
And
And whatever, you need to respect it. If it's a human, somebody who walked the earth, you really, at one point, then you need to respect that person.
yeah,
We have sort of an analogy we use of walking into a bar and meeting someone. Now, I don't really go to bars, but the
right,
point being that you would not walk into a bar and sit down and say, "Hey, how did you die?"
right,
You would never do that. You would say, "Hi, my name is Jenny. How are you? Where do you work? What do you enjoy?" And that's kind of the approach we kind of take, just as a respectful approach and getting to know something,
yeah,
whatever it is. I don't have a label for it.
right. And so like at Gettysburg, you have a lot of now I didn't see anything except for some activity in my hotel room after everybody left, and it's like then something happens. Like now what do I do?
Right.
you
Oh
know,
no, yeah. When you
but
stay overnight and that's where the activity
well,
is,
I was
that's
there
crazy.
until Monday morning because I wanted to. I figured if I can pay that much for the room, I'm going to stay.
Sure.
A few days, make it worth my while. And anyway, I was there Saturday night or Sunday night, and everybody was gone. And I had TV on, and I was on my computer at the table, and I was minding my own business, and I saw the TV dim.
Hmm.
Now, TV doesn't usually dim unless you're turning it off, right? And
Yeah.
I'm not talking about changing scenes like in a movie. I'm talking about something went in front of it, caused the light source to
Oh,
dim.
okay. So not like the energy draw, like
Right?
a black brownout. You don't mean
No,
like that.
no.
You mean like
I
something
saw.
walked in front of it.
Now, some people said that there has been some black clouds in the hotel, black fog or haze. Okay, usually that's associated with negative energy, which I didn't feel negative. I can sense negative or positive. All right, so
Mm,
I know if something's negative, but that didn't seem negative to me. But I could
right.
tell it was there. Okay,
Right.
and then it left just out the side of the room. I had a friend of mine do a remote view of the room. I gave her my room number. After I got home, I said, well, do a remote view of that room and see what happened. And I didn't tell her about the fog until she told me what was in the room. I said, that's what I saw.
That's cool. That's
So
pretty cool.
You.
now, then after that, though, as the fog left, I don't know if you ever saw some sparkly lights, like in the corner of the room.
Mm-hmm.
Bright white lights, almost like on a Christmas tree when they're flashing all over the place. But there's no Christmas
Right.
tree there, just in the corner of the room. And then that kind of followed the smoke out the room.
Wow.
So I associated the black smoke as negative, okay,
Mm,
but I didn't sense negative, so it wasn't really doing anything to me. It was just there. And
right.
then the white lights or the sparkly lights is positive because it chased it out.
Yeah.
That's what
I
I
mean,
sensed.
it's you're lucky that you can sense that kind of thing. I really
Yeah,
can't. I try not to really attribute qualities, like if you get an EVP. We were at the Betsy Ross house in Philadelphia,
yeah,
and we investigated there, and we had a woman. It was incredible, the voices in that place. I mean, not at first, but when it got dark, and I think it was after hours for the museum. It's a museum, nobody's there after hours usually. And oh my gosh, all of a sudden the voices, just disembodied voices, we could hear. I heard someone say, "I see you there, right next to me." And I had laughing and everything, but we had a woman say, "Get out of my house now, leave," on the EVP. And you might think, "Oh, what a mean lady," kind of
yeah,
thing, whatever. But I think what it was is, this is her house. It's 11 o'clock at night. We have men upstairs in her bedroom. I always try to think of it from their point of view, like she
yeah,
probably was uncomfortable, like, "Hey, get out of my house. I'm going." And we also got go to bed. So I think maybe she wanted us to go to bed.
yeah. And that is one thing I mentioned. I use dowsing rods. I'm a gold prospector, in
Oh,
case you don't
nice,
know
nice,
that.
nice. Oh, I didn't.
And so I use dowsing rods for gold prospecting as well. But I use it for ghost hunting. As not that I like that term, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
And so I was in the hotel room, minding my own business, and I got the dowsing rods on. And I said, "Are there any more? Are there any other spirits besides me here?" And of course, they crossed and said yes. And I said, and I don't goof around and try to make them move or anything like that. I clear them, and they rest against my arms when I ask the question, and they do their thing. And so then I asked, "Is there a man here?" Meaning
Mm-hmm.
like a middle-aged man, whatever. And it said yes.
Hmm.
"Is there a woman here?" And it said yes.
Hmm.
And I said, "How many spirits are here?"
Yeah, well, you're getting answers. Keep going.
Yes, and it was saying, it said like under 10, but over 6.
Wow.
Okay.
Have you ever go seeking? I
Oh,
like it.
thank you, Anthony. Yeah,
That's another way to put it.
yeah. And then I ended up with there was like 8 other spirits besides myself, and there were children there as well. And I said, okay, the only rule I have is don't bother me when I'm sleeping. And they
No
didn't.
pulling the blankets off me
That's
when I'm
right.
sleeping.
They didn't
Yep.
bother me.
Yeah, people don't realize it's that easy sometimes, right?
And
Just
then
say,
there's just one other.
here's the rules. Here's my rules, right?
Yeah.
Don't bother.
And I
me when
did
I'm
say
sleeping.
please. I said please when I said that.
Of course.
And then I was sitting at the table with my headphones on. I do my radio thing in the morning time. I play music and things like that. And I try to put together some music lists and things like that. So I was doing a music list that I was putting together and just enjoying some tunes and things like that. And I heard a knock on my door. It was a knock. You know, you can tell when there's a knock on your door or next door or upstairs or whatever. And I heard a knock on my door. I said, just a minute, thinking maybe somebody, they knew what room I was at, so they were
Right.
coming to see
Coming
me
to visit.
before they
Right.
left. So I go to answer the door. Of course, Maria tells me, my friend Maria said, "No, don't open the door.
What? Oh no.
Don't open the door because the spirit will come in, right?"
Oh my
So
goodness.
so anyway, I open the door to see if anybody's there, and I make sure I grab my door, my card key thing, and I go out. I'm at the end of the hall where there's only 2 rooms there. Nobody knocked on those doors. Nobody walked past my room. I walked down to the elevators to see if anybody was getting on nobody on the elevator.
Oh, that's creepy.
Nobody there. So I walked back to the room, and then I think that's when I did the dowsing rod thing,
Yeah.
And found out there were some spirits in there. I said, okay, just one rule: let me sleep at night.
There you go. There you go. I mean, you don't know. I mean, you might something like knocking on a door. That could be something residual too. But then you found that the dowsing rods, it wasn't. But
Yeah.
I mean, it could, something like that it could be. You
Yeah.
know.
So
You forget
yeah,
about residual stuff.
well, what was interesting about the show, though, I got to do card readings for Cody and Satori. Okay.
Nice.
And they could do card reading for me, and they'd probably be better at it than I am. But anyway, they allowed me to do it. And then I did one for Scotty the Medium. You know Scotty the Medium?
I sure do.
And I did one for him.
Too. Yep.
He did a reading for me for free, and I did a card reading for him. We exchanged readings, and that was pretty darn cool. Yeah.
He's one of the nicest people in the
Yeah, he's
field.
just a regular guy enjoying life,
He's a fabulous guy.
So, like I said, everyone that I met there, it was an event that I was really glad I was able to go. The drive there was a pain in the neck, and the drive home was even worse.
I'm sure. Well, you'll see me there next year. I will be there next year.
All right. Yeah, I'm going. If you don't have your room yet, you better get your room.
I heard they're disappearing quickly.
I know I got mine reserved already.
Yeah, so, I have to get on that for sure. Definitely.
It doesn't take any money to reserve it at this time. Just make sure you get on the list.
No, it's a good reminder. I need to do it for sure because I'm definitely going to be there.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I wanted to mention it's a cause that's near and dear to my heart. I'm going to be speaking at a conference next year.
I
in
saw your post actually.
Tennessee.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Do
it
you have
benefits.
a thing you can share on the screen?
No, but there's right now there's a Facebook page for it. It's Women in the Paranormal Celebration.
Bobby, that's
Which,
on the group page. She actually posted that on the group page.
right. So
Okay.
it's Women in the Paranormal Celebration, and it's in Tennessee. We're going to be investigating Brushy Mountain. Um, why am I blanking? We're going to be investigating Brushy Mountain, but I'm going to be talking about debunking using more advanced physics, like not just the jumping up and down in front of the door
Yeah.
like we do,
Yeah.
or
Oh, yeah.
recreating something. Really kind of nerding out a little bit, but
Yeah.
what? I think I think there's room for that. I think women, it's a women's conference. Women are smart, right?
There you go.
So there's nothing wrong with putting a little bit of science into it, but I'm also going to talk about evidence. We have a system that one of our teammates, Anthony, who I mentioned, the police officer, he actually invented a system of classifying observations.
Okay.
Really, for example, you have empirical observations, right, that you can measure, and then you have anecdotal observations, like like the hair stood up on my arm, or I didn't feel so good in there, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he came up with a system. It's an acronym. It's MEGS. It's his last name. It's an evidence grading system, and it's really technical, but it's really helpful. You really get to go back to your investigations and see it on paper, what kind of things that you experience, because I think you forget, like we try and do it right away, and then we say, hey, in this room we felt this or we saw this kind of thing, and it's just a way of recording it, really. And I don't think
I
I've
like
ever
that.
seen anything like that, and he invented it, and I want to share that too at the conference.
I like that. Yeah.
Just a different way of looking at it. So
Yeah.
it's
And
really, again, it benefits domestic abuse survivors and sexual assault survivors. So
there you go.
what better cause? And it's my first time going, so I'm excited.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be talking. You're gonna be talking in front of a lot of people then.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm nervous
Yeah.
enough.
So speaking of it, but probably the next time you're with us, maybe you should give us a virtual tour of the theater, since you mentioned about tours.
Sure. So on TikTok, we are on TikTok, and there are a few. There is a tour of the Ritz that we've filmed that you can see.
Okay.
On,
Now, yeah, as you know, you can share anything on the group page about your events that you're involved
thank
with,
you.
investigations or whatever.
Thank
And
you.
I saw that post about your conference, and I like that, and that's a good
Yeah.
idea. And you never know who you're going to reach when you can get those postings out there.
Thank
You know.
you. Yeah,
And
that's great. That's great.
and go ahead.
A friend of mine, a fellow investigator from Full Moon Paranormal. Do you know them?
I do not. I never heard of the name before, but I don't know them.
They're based out of New York State. They Anthony had known them and introduced them to us, and they've become, sort of, we do investigations together, and we call it Paramoon because we, parasite.
There you go.
So they're all women, and they're amazing women. And Nicole, one of the investigators, she's going to be a lead investigator at this event.
Okay.
So it's nice. I know somebody who's going, and she's amazing. So another self-proclaimed nerd like me. She loves math and science. So, but she's going to be a lead investigator there. So.
All right. Cool.
And
That's good.
so nice to me. Sorry,
yeah.
Bobby.
I was saying that was where it was cool.
Yeah. Did you guys? So you guys met a lot. Did you meet a lot of people, or did you just get to see people that you knew at Gettysburg?
Well, I knew them, like I've known Anthony and Maureen, of course. And they were at Pine Bush as well this last time, but I've known them on YouTube for probably Anthony about 2 years, I think.
Okay.
And Maureen, I think about a year. So, but it was like they're the same people in real life.
Yeah.
They're just as nice in real life as they are on YouTube. And that's a good thing, because you never know when you meet people, And
For sure.
Right.
Little funny story. The first time I went to Pine Bush, I was going to stay at my friend's house, which has been kind of the normal thing for me to do. Because, well, I don't like to be in a hotel room by myself in a weird place like New York, you know.
Right.
And producer Bill on KGRA, he's a really good friend of mine, and he's invited me to stay in his house every time I go for a week. I go there for a week, and
Oh, nice.
because it takes me 25 hours to drive there. Okay.
Whoa.
And I live in southwest Minnesota, so it takes me a long time to drive to Newburgh. But
Yeah.
and then I'm taking like extra time from now on. I'm not driving at night anymore. I'm done driving at night. Done driving longer than 12 hours,
Right.
and I'm only
Yeah.
driving in the daytime. So I try to stop at hotels along the way, so that I can stop, and then I go the next morning during the daytime. You know. And if I
Yeah.
know when I'm going to get to a certain hotel, I can always set the reservations up to make sure I make that appointment. The
Right.
problem comes when I can't find the hotel.
Oh, jeez.
Then I miss my
Boy.
appointment to be there at the reservation time, and well, that
Mm.
costs me money. But oh well, that's the way it goes sometimes. But anyway,
Wow.
this one time for the longest time, I was driving straight through and just stopping at the truck stop in Toledo and sleeping overnight, and then
Right.
getting back up the next morning and going. Well, on the way back last year, not this year, but last year, someone knocked on my door at 3 o'clock in the morning asking for
Ugh.
gas money, and thought that's not a good idea.
Mm.
So I
Yeah.
decided not to do the truck stop anymore. But
No.
anyway, first time going there, I didn't know what Bill looked like except for on the video.
Right.
And when I was going there, I was going down the highway, the main stretch, Highway 80 or whatever it is, going into New York there, and
80.
had 3 tornadoes come
What?
up that year, right? And one of them
Wow.
hit Bill's house, or
Wow.
his yard. It didn't hurt his house, but his tree almost landed on the house and everything. I had a video of that on Facebook for a while.
Yeah.
But anyway, what was
We do get
interesting,
them.
huh?
We do get them in this area.
Yeah,
Tornadoes.
and but I was in that day in 2017. We didn't have all the technology of the GPS and the cell phone and everything
Right.
like that, tracking everything. I was
Right.
using my phone as a GPS, as the navigation, you know.
Uh-huh.
So, but when the tornado hit that area, the cell phone towers got shut down.
Oh.
Okay, so I had no navigation.
No map.
Now, first time going there, the last time I was there, I was 10 years old with my family in 1971. So I had no clue where I was going. And I just followed the highway into town, and I got into this town. It looked like a war zone, had power lines, which you're not supposed to drive over power lines, but it's like, I'm not going to stop here.
No.
I just got done watching Walking Dead. I'm not stopping
Oh
here.
no. Oh no.
And so anyway, I
It's
go
like
around. I find a gas station. He has a generator and he has a landline for a phone. So I said, I gotta call my friend. I told him who his name. He knew who Bill was, obviously.
Oh, right.
And but Bill had the internet phone, so he was able to get my call. So he said, "You only missed the house by 2 miles."
That's not bad.
Not
Yeah.
bad. And my
I
job in
remember-
the Navy, was navigator, as
Oh, that's
quartermaster,
funny.
Yeah.
quartermaster,
I mean-
navigation.
Yeah.
But anyway-
I remember these.
We
I'm
went
old
there-
enough to
we went
remember
there-
the paper maps.
Full moon was on Dimensions of Supernatural.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember
all
that
right.
one? They were all in the hotel.
Oh,
room
that
together.
was the one. Okay, that's one that she did in the room that the internet wasn't very nice to them.
That was a fun episode because
But
they
it
were
was
all
fun,
having- Anthony was drinking.
yeah,
Remember that one?
yeah.
That was.
And then, but what was interesting about that is that Bill got me back to the house, and I'm trying to help clean up the mess from the tornado, and Ma's yelling at me, "Don't argue with Bill's Ma." You know,
Yeah.
you'll learn another lesson if you do that. So she don't, because my leg, I have some vein disorders in my legs and things like that. So standing and doing a whole lot of work is not the best thing for me. But she told me I just need to sit down and relax, and they'll take care of everything, and they did. So,
Nice. You
but
got a vacation.
yeah, and that particular Pine Bush episode, though, we didn't really have a Pine Bush. They postponed it till June that year. But we had an event. We had Commander Cover still come in, and I got to meet Commander Cover, if you know who that is. He's a talk show. He's a former pilot and for the Navy or Air Force, whatever. Anyway, he was a pilot.
What's his name? Commander?
Commander Cover. That's all I know. I ain't gonna. He used to have
I'll look it up.
He used to have a show on KGRA radio.
Okay.
And I think he's coming back as a guest host with somebody. Okay. But I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that one. But just look up Commander Cobra on KGRA, and it's in the files.
Yep, I'm gonna look it up.
And I got to meet him though. And one time I asked him before he did his little talk. We went to the Coffee and Saucer Diner, and the owner let Bill set up everything for the interview and everything like that. And he had like a 2-hour interview. We closed off that part of the diner, but we all ordered food and everything like that. So we, made sure they made money, made sure they, made sure that we weren't getting it for free, or not
right,
give, helping the guy out financially a little bit. But anyway, in between that time, either before or after that, I asked Commander Cover if I could interview him, and he said, "Yeah, if it's not longer than 5 minutes."
I love it. At least he's honest. At least he's honest.
No, we're good friends. So he did let me interview him later, and he's a good guy. He's a super nice guy. But the people that meet with Bill and just that whole KGR thing and the different Pine Bush, and it's a whole different set of people compared to paranormal. Although some of them kind of fade across the lines,
Right, exactly. Sometimes you're into cryptids, but you're also into, the paranormal.
But everyone that I meet at these conferences, they're genuine people. They love what they're doing.
I agree.
And they want to get the truth and the message out there. They're not trying to change anyone's mind.
Right.
They're just trying to get the truth out there. And if they have some kind of truth that they can share, and see, Anthony agrees.
yeah, definitely. And I like Anthony. He's very sensitive. So that's another reason I follow him around.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think we'd all get along though when we get to meet at Gettysburg, we'll be fine. And
please definitely make it a point to find me at Gettysburg.
Yes, and then of course you'll continue to show up at my little YouTube things here.
Absolutely.
And Anthony and Murray is always on Thursday night. That's their night.
I never miss it.
Yeah,
I've been on their show actually.
I know. I think that's where it got your name from, or you were on Three Beards podcast. I'm not sure which one it was.
I was on their Dimensions of the Supernatural and on EVPI. Chris Algood.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah. Okay. So one of those two shows I seen you at, and it was like I like her.
I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky to have such good friends in the field, and now I count you both as my new friends. So thank you.
And I don't mean I like you in a weird way. I like you as.
Okay. I'll take it any way you want. Thank you for liking me.
That's like me when they try to say my last name. I showed you my last name, right? On
we talked
Facebook.
about the silent, and I knew that the letter was silent.
Yeah, and I just ask them not to call me late for dinner. Call me anything you like.
Love it.
Don't mess with my food. Don't mess with my food or my sleep.
Exactly.
So I wanted to share something that Anthony loves to share on some of the shows from now on, which I'm going to do. On Sunday night, the EVPI team has a documentary coming out on Paraflix.
Yes, let's talk about it.
Called Staticom and Unknowingly Talking to the Unknown, which is, of course, Ron and Lourdes and Tony and Cherie.
Right.
I don't know if Chris and Audra are involved in that one. I think just the four.
Right.
And Anthony is also in the show, though.
Yes, he's in there. I saw him in the trailer with Cookie, his dog, barking.
Yeah. So you wanna make sure if you don't have a subscription to Paraflix, it's not that expensive.
I do.
And I think they have a thing Staticom 25 or something like that.
That's
Somebody
right.
correct me if I'm Anthony, you know more.
No, that's correct. It's for
And
you get
I don't
a
know if
discount.
I got it for $39. I don't know if that's what the discount is. Whatever. I think I got it before.
Yeah, I think it's $40 for the year, something like that. Or
Yeah, that's what I got.
for-
Yeah, I got the 1
yeah.
year subscription. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
got that right away because I don't want to miss this documentary.
We're all going to be ready on the 19th.
I mean, I know these guys, you know. I know these guys are doing this.
And I've seen, you know, obviously they brought Staticom to the Ritz Theater, you know, before. And I'll tell you a quick, amazing story that happened with that. There's a famous actress who acted there for years and years and years. Her name was Mitzi Groff, right? So I didn't mention her name. I just held up her picture. And I said, does anyone know who this is?
Oh, wow.
And sure enough, clear as anything, Mitzi. Like, no one
What?
knows the name. What an odd name. Like, you couldn't guess that.
Like, how old was the picture? Like, what time
It
frame?
was from the 20s, 30s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was black and white picture, beautiful, you know, 30s hairstyle.
And they still knew it.
And,
Wow.
yeah, and sure as anything. I mean, at first we thought we heard it, we weren't sure, but then, you know, we were like, what did you say? And he said, Mitzi, so loud. And it's incredible.
Yeah, that's one thing when you can get that, you know, when you work with like I have the Chaos box number 3, which is an AM frequency box.
That's
right?
what I have.
And it works. Trust me, it works.
Right. And we use the Orion as well, we have on our team.
Now, I would like to get one of those. I'll have to invest one of those eventually.
We need another job. Right?
But see, I think what I like about using old technology with new technology is both of them validate each other. Okay?
Right.
And then, of course, with your own common sense, you know, talent that we have, whether it's our own intuition or whatever, sensitive or whatever you are, you don't really have to be a medium to enjoy the gifts. I think we're all born with the gifts.
Right.
It depends on how much we understand them, how much we want to learn about them, if we are okay with, you know, using them. All right.
What you want to focus on, really.
And again, if you want to use them in the proper manner too, you know, not to hurt anyone. Now, Ufi had a question, right, Bobby?
No,
yeah,
Ufi, research the stimulation of nerve sensations of heat and cold. All right, I'm going to write it down now, Ufi. Thank you.
I think you can go back and write down all the questions in chat.
I'm writing it down. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can look in the chat. One of the things that we also do as a team that might interest you a little bit is our founder, our original, our OG, Frankie Adeo. He is actually a social worker and a therapist in real life.
Oh, wow.
In real life. And
his real job.
Yeah, his real job. And he works with people who have trauma. He works in prisons. He works, you know, with people who really have experienced trauma with PTSD, things like that. And he has started working with people, you know, spirits really at the Ritz in the same kind of techniques.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, the whole idea of like being a therapist to the dead is like, what an innovative idea, right?
I like that. Yeah.
And you would think, okay, how does that work? But believe it or not, you know, using the box isn't any other way to communicate. We've actually had real answers. Like he'll say, you know, what's the last thing you remember? And we'll get answers that make sense, like pain, you know, and it's so sad, you know, kind of thing. And he tries to help, you know, and I think, wow, it's pretty innovative.
Yeah.
I think that's I don't know anyone else doing that.
Yeah, I think if we show compassion in any capacity to anyone, we get compassion back 90% of the time. And you might get some crazy person that doesn't care, you know.
Right.
But in general, even in real life, if you show compassion with somebody, you're going to get that returned to you at some point. It might not be from that person. They might not even know you're trying to show compassion. Like if you hold the door open for somebody.
Yeah.
I went to the casino the other day and this lady was getting let out of her car, and she was with a cane, and I was there at the door, and I'm not the doorman, but I held the door
Right. No, you got
open.
to do the right
You know,
thing. Yeah.
now I might not ever see her again, but the thing is,
Exactly.
somebody might do that for me, at some point,
Exactly. Yeah, and we have to think about it that way when we walk into a place, right? Yeah, Katie Halsey, she can build anything, not just something. She can build anything.
Yeah.
She's brilliant. That's a really good point. I was gonna say, we're big fans of Hans Holzer and his methods, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what I said, science and sensitivity. We try to use sensitives and combine it more with analytical things. And that's sort of our hashtag, science and sensitivity. But we wear our parasite shirts, and one of them actually has a quote from Hans Holzer that, pretty much to paraphrase, it says, I'm never been afraid of ghosts because it's really just, a human being in trouble,
Mm-hmm.
So not necessarily in trouble, but that's the quote that he had. So, we try to think of that all the time, to remember that you're not talking to the wall. You're not just asking the wall, hey, can you do this? They're not a trick pony.
Right. It's not a circus act or nothing.
No, exactly. You can't be like, all right, knock again. Like, you have to, like I said, you walk into a bar, you're not going to say, hey, do this. You're going to say, who are you?
No,
What's
here
story?
with the ones at my house, I do try to communicate with them. Some of them I've seen physical apparitions, if you will.
Wow.
And I know Maureen has done a remote view of my house. I've had several people do it, and they all come up with the same answer.
Really?
And this was before I was sharing my story openly on the air, because I thought I was going crazy seeing this stuff.
I think you're not alone.
But I heard a guy in the basement pounding away, and actually I heard these big doors slam shut. Like the old big French doors, big solid wood. There's no doors down in the basement like that, right? There's no doors down in the basement at all. And just like somebody slammed it shut, right? Rattled the whole house.
Did you jump like I did?
I was in my chair, and it made me get up. I got up and I went down to the basement looking. There's no doors down there. I said, all right, quiet down. And I came back upstairs. But there was a guy, there is a guy in the basement building either furniture or toys, I'm not sure, or a combination of both, because I hear pounding. And Maureen has done a remote view of this, and she saw this guy. Now, I didn't tell Maureen what this guy looked like, and she described him exactly.
She's excellent. She's excellent.
And this guy has a hat, like the old 30s hat, round, round rim with the dome,
Like a bowler kind of hat?
Yeah, and it's all the way around. The rim goes all the way around,
Interesting.
And it has a round top to it, and it was brown, just like a work hat, kind of like.
That's so clear.
And then I saw the guy's brown vest. He had on brown vest and not really dress pants, but they're dressier than work pants,
Yeah, they didn't have jeans, really, yeah.
Yeah, they were casual, relaxing pants. And then he had on some brown work boots or whatever. Not necessarily cowboy boots, but work boots, And I didn't see his eyes necessarily, but I didn't feel anything negative with him. Now, the day before or so, I did see a shadow man that I felt a negative energy from. All I saw was a black outfit, and I didn't see his face at all.
Right.
And I turned and looked in the corner of my eye, and I saw this guy standing there just for a second. And I said, you got to go.
Yeah.
That's all I said. You got to go. And he did. I haven't seen him back yet.
Yeah, people don't realize how powerful just your words are.
Yeah. And I wasn't rude to him. I just said, you got to go.
That's your
like
house.
That.
I mean,
I didn't cuss at him or nothing like that, Yep. And then, but this guy that works in the basement, he's this kind guy. He likes to smoke the cherry tobacco pipe. I can smell cherry tobacco.
Yeah. I hear that a lot. Yeah.
I saw smoke coming off the couch over here in my living room one time. I was sitting there and saw a cloud of smoke come out. And I was like,
Yep.
where did that come? Like the cigar smoke, you know? Like,
Yep.
I'm not smoking. Where did that come from?
That's, oh
You
yeah,
know?
definitely, definitely. In the theater once, we were talking about that CD time, the adult film time, and we heard one of the chairs in the theater, rattle, and then we got a heat signature in one of the chairs, and all of a sudden, this amazing smell of marijuana, like
Yeah.
everywhere, and then it was gone.
Yeah.
We
Just
were
for a
inside of a
second.
locked theater, like in a locked theater, like no
Yeah.
one is speaking.
And
It was
I
strange.
have a 10-year-old boy here. And
Wow.
again, I don't necessarily, except for now I share it online, on the live stream here. There's a 10-year-old boy here that likes to sneak up behind me and tap me on my shoulders.
He's a little
Make
playful.
me look either way, and I can hear him running away as he's doing it, right? I heard kids upstairs running. There's no way to run upstairs. There's
Oh, there's no upstairs.
well, there is an upstairs, but there's no long hallway this way
Oh.
to run. But maybe there was then, whenever they were here, you know.
Right. You have to think about that.
This house was built in 1945, but the
I was just
land
about
is
to ask you
old.
that.
But the
Okay,
land
that's
is
old.
really old. Okay,
Right.
we have the national petroglyphs here
Oh,
in
wow.
Jeffers, which is between 7,000 and 10,000 years old for that. For some of the rock carvings and drawings. That's that old, how long people have lived in this area. So who
Yep.
knows who's coming through here?
Who knows? I mean, you're gonna like if the paranormal lasagna, you're gonna
Yeah.
have to add the layers, right?
And so I'm just enjoying the company because I'm not here by myself, you know.
There you go.
And
Yeah,
it doesn't really scare me. As long as they don't hurt me, I'm not worried
Right.
about it. And if they're just coming out to say hello, then that's fine. But one of the women that was here, there's a friend of mine, Tanya Medea, that's in Ohio.
Okay.
She's a medium, psychic medium. She's a Reiki master. She does regression therapy and all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I've met Tanya and Joey. Joey Medea is an author and actor and teacher, storyteller and things like that.
Mhm.
And Chris the Ghost Hunter, whoever that is.
Chris the Ghost Hunter.
All right. And anyway, the interesting thing is there was this one woman that I didn't know her name at the time. And I said, if you want to go home, now this was after Tanya had done a remote view early on when she was working with me to develop my gifts that I have. Okay?
Mhm.
And so she's helping me open up my third eye and everything like that and understanding some of this stuff that I am dealing with. And I said, you met Tanya. Go and visit with her. She can help you get home if you want to go home. Now, I didn't know who this woman was, but I knew what she looked like. And her and the old man went to visit Tanya at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning. Now, Tanya and I would meet like on Tuesday or something like that, for our sessions that she'd help me with some of my gifts and things like that. And so, anyway, 3 o'clock in the morning, Tanya's doing her normal routine of walking around the house, in her spiritual self and guarding the house, making sure everything is okay. Because where they're at, it's not really the best location.
Okay. Yeah.
But so she was making sure, and there's a lot of activity in that area as well. But she was there just kind of making sure the house was okay. And then she seen this woman standing in her kitchen.
What?
Yeah. And then she described the woman to me that the next time we met on our session. She said, yeah, I had this woman with black hair, and she's in kind of like an old time, not really a church dress, but a white, old time white dress, like 1800s or whatever. And she asked Tanya for help. And Tanya said, what is your name? And she said, Sarah. Now, what's interesting, on my phone, I have a phone app, ghost hunting tool, has the hand thing, and it reads off names, it reads off any kind of one word things usually.
Like a paratech, but on your phone.
Yeah, and it read, one of the names was Sarah on my list.
Oh, wow.
Now, I didn't know to tell Tanya this. I didn't think about it being anything,
Yeah,
but when she said Sarah, and then I looked back on the list, and I said, wait a minute, that was her name.
Yep.
And then the old man said he didn't want to go, so he came back here, right?
Fair
But
enough.
Sarah never came back here. I never seen her again.
Interesting.
So Tanya sent her, got her home. Tanya asked her, "Did you want to go home? Did you want to?" You know,
Right.
that's what she asked.
Right.
She didn't want to say like crossed over or whatever. You know, didn't want to be rude about it. And I'm not trying to destroy anyone's existence.
Right.
But if they do want help to get home, obviously I know who to. You know, I got certain people that can do it. You know.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
really have to get people you trust. Really.
Yeah, and I
Because
don't know how to do it.
I don't know anything about it.
But
Honestly, I don't.
knowing people, that's the first thing. Knowing some people with gifts that can help, that's the main thing.
Right.
And
Right.
so we
Some-
want to make sure that
some-
we can help them where we can.
Right. Right. Like legitimate
Yeah.
people.
And
No, I agree.
and so I think communication though is the main thing with these spirits. And like we were talking about earlier, they are human spirits, I believe. Because I don't, you know, if it's anything evil, obviously we're gonna know it, you know, right away. And
You'll know it. Yeah.
then we better get the priest in here to take care of things.
I think you should go to Hinsdale.
You think so, huh?
I do.
And when do they have tours there?
Just they set them up. You know, Dan sets them up. You just set up a time, stay over. We slept over.
And what happened when you slept over?
Not too much. I mean, I think, like I said, we tried to bring a really positive energy in there. So
Yeah.
we more got things like someone sitting in the chair next to us on the SLS camera,
Right.
and the KQ meters were going off, and we had like a voice, a woman's voice.
Right, you said
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, I think it was pretty normal. You know,
Okay.
the activity we had. It wasn't anything crazy, but you know, I have people who say they go there and everything goes off. You know, everything just happens. But
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what was said on the documentary there.
I think it's one of Anthony Simonelli's. Actually, I think it may be his favorite location.
Okay.
And a lot. He says something that a lot of people say, that it has this kind of weird draw. Like once you go, you want to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
actually, you know, something about that place. There's something about it.
Interesting. Now, Ufi had a few things, Bobby. What did Ufi have to say up there?
It's actually mentioning towards Anthony, but we have a sedantic instructions for building and working portal doorway opening and lines.
Really?
Oh, okay.
That's like
Because
that's like having it's one way. Wow. Shifted. I'm reading. Mind is shifted from your current. Whoa! What?
Yeah, and this is his response.
That is dangerous. I agree.
Well, yeah, again, it depends on your intention, though. And I think if you're doing it for research capacity, trying to not necessarily communicate them to get anything from them, but more or less to find out who they are.
No, exactly. I mean, people are like, I actually had a location in Pennsylvania that told me you can't bring a Ouija board here.
Right.
And I thought, no, that's silly, because I don't typically use them. I just found it silly because you can bring any other piece of equipment in here doing the same thing, right? Like whether it's a dowsing rod or it's a spirit box, right? You're asking questions. You're looking for a response, right?
Yeah.
You can table tip, you can do the glass or whatever, but you can't bring a Ouija board. And I just thought that's just silly. It's like, it's the same thing.
And it might be silly, but it's a safety precaution.
I think you're right. Like, but you can still do the same thing with any form of communication. It depends, like you just said, Ron. Like exactly right. It depends on your intention.
Yeah, I'm a little bit. I want to say a little bit scared of using a Ouija board.
Right. A lot of people are. A lot of people
in my personal opinion. And then Maureen said in the show last night, she said, just say, she was trying to tell me to close it, you just got to say goodbye.
Right.
And I thought she was telling me, that it was telling me goodbye.
No, that's funny. No, I did. I saw that. She was saying, like, don't burn it. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But
Yeah,
see,
because then you release the spirit into the open air, and you got
right, but
more.
Maureen and I agree on this, that it really is, it's the same idea as anything else you use. You have to be careful.
Yeah. So, but I'll use tarot cards because it's a different form of communicating.
I
When
enjoy
I
them. Yeah.
when I read tarot cards, what I normally do is in my own self. Okay, now I am a born again Christian, so this is all kind of weird working with some of this stuff compared to believing what the
Right.
Bible says, and it says don't practice any divination and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think the divination they talk about the Bible is what we're doing with the tarot cards. That's not the
Right.
same thing. Okay, the language has changed for one, and for another. Divination in the Bible time, they're usually sacrificing animals and things like that, and that was a whole different deal. Okay, I'm not sacrificing any animals or anything like that.
Right.
What I do is I use cards with pretty pictures on them, and I like to read a message that the cards might have, or I'll ask the Holy Spirit. A lot of times, what it is, what message can I bring to the person,
Right.
And I have if you want a reading, I could do one.
Yeah.
But I have these here.
Oh, I like those angel
Okay.
ones. I
Yeah.
like those.
Now I had some other ones that are mysteriously disappeared. There you go, Bobby. He's trying to make my screen big.
No, it's good. It's great.
All right.
I mean, people collect them. They're artwork.
That's what I said. My brother said, he doesn't believe in tarot card stuff and all that stuff, and I said they're just cards with pictures on them and nice saying, and
That's life advice right there.
and and then
sure,
he couldn't really argue with me on that one because that's all these are.
Yeah,
And then the interesting. Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, one should not ask the questions for what is not prepared to receive the answers.
Right.
And Tarot Paranormal has a point. It's the fact that Ouija boards using human vessels as antennas to manipulate the planet compared to non-living devices like meters or recorders.
Right.
No,
that's a really
good
point, Raul. But but you can do a seance, and you can do, like I said, you can use a glass or table tipping, and it's the same. That's the same idea. That's using humans too, and that's okay with them.
All right. Now these cards have. Let me see if I get the colors right. They have green, blue, purple, pink, and yellow. What are you thinking of right at the moment?
Pink.
Ah, interesting. Emotion then. Huh.
I'm a Cancer.
Ah.
Yeah. And you want like a 3-car or 4-car?
Me?
Jenny? Yeah, do you?
3? Okay, 3.
Okay. Ooh, all right. All right. Well, your lucky day.
Of course it is.
Well, the first card, and what I usually do is I usually take a picture of these and I'll send it to you on Messenger so you can study them.
Everybody gets to see my tarot cards.
Yeah. Hope you don't mind that.
Creativity
and abundance. And that's number 3 of the. This is what I call the major arcana.
Right. I know it. Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I'll get a picture to you. Anybody else can pause the video later and read it.
That's a good one.
But for you, and that makes sense with all what you got going on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now again, I didn't know anything about you until we started talking, and the cards didn't know anything about you at all. So I didn't set anything up. And this is Guardian of Thought. Yeah, write them down now if you want, but I'll take that picture like I said and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, definitely. That's an interesting one too, though.
Yeah, Guardian of Thought. And then you mentioned the pink card, which is the last one.
Helper of emotion.
And there's see the nice picture. Now, what's so
Definitely.
evil? What is so evil about these cards?
Those are beautiful cards, actually.
Okay.
Those
I
are
don't
beautiful
I don't see
cards.
anything evil about that. And so anyway,
No.
what I mentioned to my brother, I said, well, now do you use playing cards? And he said, well, yeah, of course I use playing cards.
Right.
And I said, you know what that is, right? That's called numerology.
Oh yeah, right?
That's
Yeah.
that's what that's called. And it
Right.
don't matter what you're using, what game you're playing, you're using numbers to decide an outcome. Numerology. Okay?
Right.
Now, if you look in the Bible, it does mention about numerology. Okay?
Yes.
Now, the interesting thing is when you look at the Bible too, as well, and you, when I'm talking, I can be taking this picture. I can do two things at once. I know I can. When you look at the story of the wise men that came to visit the baby Jesus, right? All right. So now the three wise men that came to visit the baby Jesus, you don't have any idea of how many people were traveling with the three wise men. Of
Nope.
each wise man, they probably had, I don't know, 500 or more people with them, you know?
Right.
So, all bearing, they're bearing their gifts. The wise men are bearing their gifts. And again, the perception of what it actually talks about makes no sense to us
Right.
today. But when you look at the historical part of that story, you find out there was a whole lot more people than just three people on horses coming to visit the baby Jesus. No, they traveled with a band of people and they're coming for a festival of the time that Jesus was born. Okay?
Gotcha.
And so, and you can look that up and look at the history of things and make sure that I'm not telling a lie.
I'm sure you're not.
I might have a little bit wrong sometimes. Sometimes I get the story a little bit wrong.
That's
My
okay.
memory ain't as great as it used to be.
Whose is? I hear you.
And I have a really good theory about some of that.
I write everything down.
Yeah. But part
I
of my
literally
theory
have
is
a
like,
notebook with me. Look, right now I have a notebook.
there you go.
I write everything
Now I'm going to send this to you on Messenger so you'll
Thank
hear
you.
it beam.
Thank you.
But
But I
you should.
but I had a great tarot reading there, people. I had really nice things. So Oofy, you don't have to worry about the answers there.
But
Yeah.
see now, all those cards match with
Thank you.
you now. That
They
matches
were
with
good.
you.
Yeah.
And
I'm
like I said,
I'm
I
happy.
didn't know you before now.
Nope.
You know, I mean, we chatted. That's about it.
That's
And
very interesting. Yeah.
and
I mean,
I
thought
had it right, and I didn't make anything up. That's the way it is.
no, there weren't any of them that I felt like, oh, that's not me. I felt like they were all me.
Right. And
It's
that's what
interesting.
happened. That's what happened at Gettysburg when I did readings for the people. I did another reading for another guy that sold tarot cards, and it's like, I'll do a reading for you. Okay, go ahead. He did one for me, and I did one for him. We
That's pretty cool.
didn't do anything for free, you know. We did it even exchange.
I love it.
So,
Which is good.
all
You need
right.
to do a live reading for me next year in Gettysburg.
Oh, that would be fun.
Bobby, you're gonna go. Bobby, will you be there in Gettysburg next year?
I probably won't be able to go, but maybe Ron will.
Well, I'll go for sure. I already got my room ready to go. I'm going to represent myself. And by the way, I got these little bracelets here.
Oh yeah.
Okay, they're little rubber bracelets, and you are officially an Ertling now. You know.
I'm an Earthling. I love it.
All right.
Earthling.
So if you want one of these, I'll bring
That's
some,
fantastic. No,
and
I'm
you can
really
share.
I'm so happy that you asked me to be on the show. Really, it's been so much
Good.
fun.
All right. Now, if you want to watch me do any more readings, I can do Bobby a tarot card reading if you want.
It's up to him.
Bobby,
Yeah, I'll take one.
you want 3 cards?
Yeah, I'll take a 3.
All right. I'm learning the animal card. I have a animal tarot card deck. Spirit animal. That's interesting. I'm still learning that one.
Spirit animal, interesting.
Yeah, I'll show you the deck. I won't do one tonight, but we'll do one later for you.
Sounds good.
But this is the deck.
See, they're beautiful. I
Yeah.
have a deck that's gorgeous. Yeah, and my best friend with whom I investigated for years before I joined this team, we both joined the team. Stacy, she's very into oracle cards.
Yeah.
And she reads
Yeah, I do both Oracle and Tarot, and I think they each have a different
I agree.
message for
Different thing.
anybody.
Right. I mean, I think there's some positive messages, and it doesn't hurt us to hear them.
What was funny when I learned how I could do this is talking to my brother about the numerology stuff. I used to use regular playing cards for tarot card reading.
Oh, really? Yeah, you
All
can
right.
use those. You can use anything, really.
Well, what's funny was I didn't know much about it at the time, and I was in a situation I didn't know this person, didn't know who he was or whatever like that, but I was having fun doing some readings for people.
Uh-huh.
And so I did this guy's reading on one line, and it was one line on each end of the line. It told a story about his family, about him, and about everything about his life, what he's going through. And so, anyway, I didn't know who he was, didn't know his personal life choice, which turned out he was gay. Nothing wrong with that. You know, it's people's personal preference. I don't agree with it, but that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. So I'm not going to put anybody down for the choice. Everyone is who they are, you know, for whatever reason it is. And so, anyway, I said, well, your significant other, because there were two kings that were next to each other, and it went out.
Interesting.
You know,
Interesting.
and it showed that he had trouble, showed that he had financial issues, showed that he had some drug issue or something like that. That's what I got from the reading. And I told him exactly. Now, again, I didn't know this guy from anybody. And I wasn't making fun of him. I wasn't trying to call him out or nothing like that. He asked me to do a reading for him. So I did. And I said, well, that's why you're going through what you're going through right now, is that you make bad decisions.
Right. No, I hear you.
And he thanked me for it, you know, and never got in any trouble with that. I don't know whatever happened to him. I hope that he got straightened out. And
But don't you feel like you have to answer it honestly? Like, if you're going to do a reading for somebody, it's not going to help if you make it up, you know, and like Goofy said, you got to be prepared for any answer.
Yeah. And Bobby, what color did you want?
I'm going to try blue again.
All right, I shuffled these like 20,000 times already now. Oh, on my link that I shared with you,
yes,
that is a music, a place where we do our audio.
That's very cool.
No blue today, Bobby. Bobby had figured out we've been on Mixler for 8 years.
Wow.
He figured out. So I've been doing this radio thing, not the YouTube thing, but the radio thing for about 10 years, I think, total.
That's amazing.
And but on the Mixler thing, in 8 years, we have 101,979 total listens.
That's incredible.
And when I first started, Letting Go, Bobby, we had this one for you a long time ago.
Letting Go.
Number 13.
Okay.
There you go. And so I think just August 1st, we crossed over the 100,000 total listens.
Congratulations.
Which is like, I was only expecting to get one.
I hear you. No, I mean, you do it for one, right? But
yeah, I do it for only one listen, and I got that many. Organization, we had this one for you before. I think we had both of these at the same time. Okay. So these keep coming up for Bobby, so.
Huh.
So I'm not sure if that means he's needing to improve on that or needing to.
Or it's important to him.
Yeah. I need to learn how.
We're talking about you, Bobby, right in front of you.
I need to learn how to tell the story with these cards.
Right. That just takes practice.
But and then this one here, 3 of axioms. I think you're already getting this done.
Okay.
And if you read what that says, though, things are working out beautifully. See, so he's on the right track. So
he's amazing.
So keep organizing, keep things organized, or keep focused mainly.
He helped me a lot today.
Yeah. So letting go, you still have something that's kind of holding you back a little bit, Bobby. I don't know what it is, and I'm not going to go into details with it, but you need to research that your own,
Right. It's what it means to you.
and that's your personal thing. Now, if you find out what it is and you reach out to somebody that you think you can get help from, that's what I recommend.
Mm.
Whether it be a pastor or church person or whatever.
I would love to do a live one with you at the next Gettysburg Bash.
Oh, that would be fun. And then you could do one for me.
Sounds
How about
good.
that?
Sounds great. Sounds great.
And then we can enjoy that and laugh about it.
No, I really appreciate you guys having me.
Thank you, and you're always welcome. You know that.
Yeah.
I know.
And,
I really, really appreciate it. It was so nice to meet you guys.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting old. I think it's my bedtime.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going on about 2 hours, so yeah.
Yeah,
We
sorry
usually go about
that.
2 hours, and then we call it a night.
Yeah.
And before we go 3 and 4 hours, but we're all getting too old for that mess.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear
And
you.
I'm doing better though. I think I'll be. I just got done doing the leg surgery on that on my vein procedure that I had done when I was at Gettysburg. So getting around was a little bit challenging
Oh, that's hard.
for me, and driving all that way, and everything like that. But now
Mhm.
it's all getting healed up. I still have some issues, but not as bad. And then but I should do better this next July when we go.
Sounds good.
And I should
Sounds
be
good.
all healed up and ready to go, and I'll be able. You'll have to get a scooter to keep up with
I'll
me
have
or
to
something.
run to keep up with you.
Yeah, there
Exactly.
you go.
I get it. Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. Thank you.
Well, yeah, thank you, and please share about where we are here on Errt Radio on Maureen's show,
I
and
certainly will.
and if
I'm
anyone
always there.
if anyone else wants free airtime and they want to share their evidence and just talk about whatever, we're not choosy over who we get.
I love it. No,
So,
I appreciate you letting me talk about the Ritz. It's not for me, it's for the community, the theater
yeah,
community. I mean, these are precious, things in our neighborhood we take for granted, the culture,
yeah, and
Yep.
one should ask questions for which one is not. Oh, we said that one before.
Yep. No, you know what though? That's life advice.
All
Forget
right.
about it. Hey, see you in the next one. That's right, Simonelli. Mr. Simonelli, forgot about it. I'll see you
Yeah,
I'll see you at Strauss Mansion next Saturday.
that
But
sounds
we're all
like
gonna be
fun.
watching. I'll be there. Yeah, Ron and Lourdes will be there.
Oh man.
Full Moon will be
Yeah,
there.
if you could do some of those, if there's internet, you could do live stream. I don't know how good the internet,
Yep, we'll definitely do some live from
but
there.
if there is, yeah, you can share it on the Errt Radio shows. You got the ability to do that if you want.
Yeah, I mean,
And
Anthony and I will be there together. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah, Anthony can also share it on the Errt Radio shows. Both of you are admins on there, so you have that that
that'd
ability
be
to do that.
perfect. That would be
And
perfect. It's going to be fun, and we'll all be watching on the 19th for knowingly talking to the
that's
unknown
coming
on
up on
Saturday.
Sunday, right?
It is. I think is it 9
Oh,
o'clock? 9
wait,
o'clock?
the 19th?
The
That's
19th.
tomorrow. That's today, right? Saturday, right?
Today's 18th. Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
everybody tune in on Paraflix for that.
These time zones are messing me up terrible.
Shameless plug right here, but they're my dear friends. So
There you go. Yep.
yeah.
And
All right. Well,
you already shared your shameless plug, but now do you have any contact info you want to share?
just you can find us at the Parasite Experience on TikTok, on Facebook, everywhere. It's the Parasite Experience, as in PARASIGHT.
All right.
Everywhere.
And then Anthony said 9 p.m. Get your membership at Paraflix. It's not that expensive.
Datacom 25, you get a discount.
Yep, it's not that expensive at all.
Yeah, and if anybody has any questions about the theater, they can message me. My name is obviously on this, so
Jenny, who?
say
Jenny?
hi.
Oh, one real funny thing about name. All right, let me tell you about that just real quick, and then I'll let you go.
You're
But
so funny.
my friend, I don't know if you know who Carol Carl is. You know who Carol Carl is?
I know the
She's
name.
an actress. She did radio, and she used to do the UFO news stuff.
Oh, that's how I know it.
And she was on KGRA for a little bit. And then they changed her out for another show or whatever. And whatever happened, I don't know what happened there. Not my business, but I'm not I'm not part of that numbers thing there. But anyway, she's been on my show here a couple times and everything like that. But we're good friends. I haven't met her yet. I'd love to meet her. But anyway, her name is Carol Carl. And the funny thing is that the Carle, we talk about spellings, right? And then I knew a friend of mine at this Bible study I used to go to. We'd go to this, believe it or not, Catholic church. I'm not Catholic, but it was non-denominational Bible study for everybody. And it was a way to learn some of the Bible, a way to, contact people and get involved with people and make friends, And did that for about maybe 7 years, I guess. And that doesn't happen anymore. They closed that down because nobody was willing, with COVID and everything like that, things kind of shift around. And so that stopped. But anyway, my friend's name was Carly. Her first name was Carly.
Oh my gosh.
Carle. Carly.
Wow.
Right?
Right.
So when I met Carol Carl, I called her Carol Carly.
Carly. Yeah, of course. It's the same.
And I explained why. And then we just laughed about that. And I just call her.
Funny.
I just call her Carol.
That's so funny.
But I called her Carol Carly when I first introduced her as my guest. And was like, no, it's Carl. And I'll just call you Carol.
Or Carol, Carly. Yeah, just Carol. We'll stick with that.
And knowing my friend's first name was Carly, that was just kind of confusing.
My name is Jennie, and I often get people call me Jeannie. Like the name Jeannie, because it's close, but it's Jenny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, Anthony, he wears glasses, but if he's not wearing glasses, just put the Y. Just kidding. Just kidding, Anthony. Don't get mad at me.
He's Mr. Forget About It. If you can spell that.
There you go.
He's got that shirt that says "Forget About It." I love that.
That's right.
Anyway, you guys are so much fun. I really appreciate this.
Well, anytime you have a big event coming up, or if you're at an event and you get new information that you can share,
I would love to.
You're more than welcome to come on, and even if you want to spend just a few minutes and say hi, hey, I got everything. Here you go.
I'd love that. It's been a joy. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome, and you have a great
night, everybody.
Great rest of your night and weekend, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having
Good
me.
night. Good night.
Good night.
Nice
Bobby.
to meet you.
Thank you for everything.
Good night.
Bye.
No problem.
Take
All right, thank you, Bobby. Great job tonight.
Bye.
Yes, thank you. So.
All right, everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Yep. Good night, everybody.